Hello and welcome back for the Join Dota League Season 3 here on HeflaTV 2. This is going to be Game 2 of a Best of 2 series between your family and European love story. I guess as far as Game 1 is concerned, we can pretty much sum it up by saying the cancer was real. Phantom Lens, our last pick from European love story. They were able to rat their way to victory. They got one lane of racks and that was pretty much all over. Even though your family had the better late game, it's really hard to say that up against a Phantom Lancer. I mean, in theory, Faceless Void and Draw Ranger, especially with both Mjolnir, should be able to deal with the Phantom Lancer fairly effectively, but once you lose a Rax, it's all but over. Like, that's pretty much almost checkmate. That's definitely check coming out from your Phantom Lancer, and then when he only has two lanes to really push in, it's just so easy for him to squeeze out the enemy team and force that into a win. That said, I'm Grandis and I'll be your caster here for Game 2. Let's see if your family are going to be able to come back for Game 2 and tie up the series 1-1. We will see. Scarlet Mage going to come out from European Love Story yet again. Last game, we saw a really scary Scarlet Mage. I mean, he had some not great ultimates, but then again, he had some really great ones. And then late game, he was able to farm up the Bloodstone as well as Aghanim Scepter to drop the double ulti on people. And with the Ethereal Blades on their Phantom Lancer as well as Earthshaker, that last fight was pretty crazy. So, that said, Scarlet Mage, a solid start, but they also have the Faceless Void available for European Story to pick up if they want it. Usually you don't see this combo being given up so willingly. If you first pick the Scarlet Mage, usually the enemy team will pick up the Faceless Void. But at least this game it will be available to them, as your family picked up the Wraith King as well as Viper first picks. But a Tinker comes out for European Love Story. If the Rat wasn't bad enough this game, now we have the Robotic Rat coming out. Tinker is just so annoying to play against. Viper is decent against Tinker, canceling his Blink Dagger in the trees, with just standing in the March of Machines, and overall just being a nuisance to lane up against as a Tinker. But if you leave the Tinker unchecked, don't block his camps, don't kill him consecutively, he's going to pull a Boots of Travel timing out of nowhere, and at that point, the game is hard. Pushing into March of Machines is quite possibly one of the hardest things to do, especially if you don't have a pipe on your team, and we might see Viper building that one. Although Viper generally wants to be building his tank in other ways, I think it's definitely worth the pickup if you are playing up against the Tinker. I think you just need at least one, or else pushing high ground is going to be almost impossible, as your creeps are going to melt to that March of Machines. Well, the next couple of bans coming out, we have Faceless Void banned up by your family. Not wanting to give away that combo, for sure. Scarlet Mage plus Tinker plus Faceless Void is a very hard team to play up against. They have teamfight presence coming out from the Faceless Void, locking them in place for the Scarlet Mage and Tinker to just unload their magical damage, which between them is pretty much enough to drop any hero in the game. The bans coming out from European Love Story are going to mostly be the heroes that are great at catching out the Tinker. We have the Storm Spirit as well as the Clockwork banned up from them. It makes sense. Clockwork also decent at catching out the Scarlet Mage, although he can just ulti straight into the cogs if he gets caught out. Yeah. So European Love Story are well on their way to making a very scary Tinker game occur for your family to deal with. They're on the Radiant side, and against the Radiant Tinker, I think you need to block everything. Like, just block his Ancients and block one of the pole camps over to the side, medium or large, it doesn't matter. But even if you block those, he still has the triple camp to farm up in his own jungle, and if you end up blocking the entirety of his own jungle and just commit like 1,000 gold in order to do so, he's just going to move into your jungle and then take up your farm. It's very hard to keep a Tinker from farming if left unchecked. Your family, their aggressive potential is decent coming out for Wraith King as well as Ancient Apparition. They can roam onto the Tinker. As far as heroes that can pick off the Tinker around the map, Wraith King with a Blink Dagger is decent, as is the Ancient Apparition with his ultimate. Getting vision with him on the trees with the Icy Vortex is good as well. Next assassin going to be the pair up or pickup from European Love Story. Probably the third hero that is best at catching out the Tinker behind Clockwork and Storm Spirit. And up against the Wraith King, as well as the Ancient Apparition, a decent hero. He can catch out the Ancient Apparition fairly easily. He's a squishy hero, and Mana Burn's going to do some good damage to if he hits his combo correctly. And the next assassin hasn't completely fallen flat on his face, he'll be doing good. Also, having Mana Burn against a Wraith King, especially if that's a support Wraith King, is going to be problematic for your family, as if he's not careful, he can end up with not enough mana for his ultimate, especially if he wants to use those Wraithfire Blasts to his fullest. So at the very least, it's going to scare him enough to where you're not going to have as many stuns coming out in the team fights, which is always a great thing for European Love Story, like just psyching him out, making sure that he doesn't cast it at the risk of being mana burn, not able to reincarnate, is always nice. Yeah, I know. I think European Love Story have the more well-rounded draft, but your family definitely have the potential to snowball off of some early kills. Viper should crush his lane. If Tinker goes for the combat build and goes for lasers as well as March, he should be doing a whole lot better, but in the end, Viper should still come out on top, and Tinker will be forced to go into his jungle or agents in order to come back. Ancient Apparition and Wraith King, as aforementioned, definitely can get some kills around the map. Wraithfire Blast, decent setup for the Cold Feet, and he might see some points into that coming out from the Ancient Apparition. And then they have plenty of damage coming out with the Chilling Touch on 3 heroes if they are ganking mid with the Viper. So Bristleback, the next pickup for your family. Bristleback, a decent tanky hero that is a natural pipe carrier for his team, and I'd like to see this Bristleback pick it up, as I think it's a necessity up against a Tinker as well as a Skywrath Mage. A lot of magic burst damage coming out from them. And it will make the Bristleback incredibly tanky. Currently, the physical damage really isn't all that scary, so I don't think we'll be seeing a Vanguard out of this Bristleback, at least as far as the first 3 picks are concerned.
Earthshaker.
Dire's ban.
Well, the next pickup is going to be an Earthshaker for European Love Story, so it is going to be an offlane Nyx Assassin for them. Not going to be seeing that in the sport, and I quite like this choice. Offlane Nyx Assassin just kind of feels a lot stronger than your support Nyx. Support Nyx needs to get off to an early start, and with a Skywrath Mage, it's decent setup for the Impale, but if you're not able to get some kills, it'll just fall behind very quickly and eventually just be a walking Impale. You can't roam around with the Vendetta and get kills if you do get behind. But Earthshaker for European Love Story. Last game, the Earthshaker did really well for them. Got a decently timed Blink Dagger at about 20 minutes with Arcane Boots. Although not the fastest, it's for a support, not too shabby. Especially on a support that doesn't farm very well. And once he had the Blink Dagger, he was able to make a lot of things happen inside the team fights. His fissures weren't 100% on point, but they were still pretty solid, and your family picked themselves up a Zeus. These 5th picks coming out from these teams do not disappoint. The last 3 picks, I don't know, they've pretty much felt like, okay, we're just going to pick something completely out of left field and hope it sticks. And, well, last game, the Phantom Lancer stuck for European Love Story, and the Drow Ranger not so much for your family. But yeah, Zeus, I don't know, a hero we hardly ever get to see. I'm pretty excited. He does an absurd amount of damage as long as you're not able to get the jump on him. Nyx Assassin and Earthshaker are going to make his life very difficult, so we're probably going to be seeing a Blink for Staff Zeus to make sure that his positioning is always on point and that he can avoid those fissures as best you can, force staff over them if things get hairy, and then just escape with the Blink Dagger. A lot of positioning tools are going to be necessary to keep this Zeus safe, but if he has them and is able to spam out his Chain Lightning and Lightning Bolts in these team fights, Tinker is going to have a pretty hard time as he'll be dropping very quickly. Tinker this game, Lightning Bolt is great at interrupting the rearm and really wastes the Tinker mana if you can find him out when he's trying to reset into these team fights. I don't know, probably not one of the major things that they were thinking about with this Zeus pick, but our next pickup is going to be the Spectre, coming out from European Love Story. Well, I guess for these 5th picks, these teams kind of just press random and then go with whatever. I mean, Spectre, I was not expecting this, but the global presence coming out from a Tinker and Spectre, as well as a Nyx Assassin, and eventually Earthshaker with the Blink Dagger is going to be wonderful. Anywhere on the map, you're not really going to feel very safe at all, as I don't know, they can kill you from anywhere. And yeah, a lot of global presence, and I'm looking for a lot of action come the mid game. But maybe Eunice just wanted to show off his Soul Diffuser cosmetic. In the end, I'm going to go ahead and introduce a Radiant side to start us off with Eunice playing on the Spectre. Our supports are going to be Silva's playing on the Earthshaker with the support Skywrath Mage taken up by Ball. The Tinker going to be played by Zella, which will leave our offlane Nyx Assassin to be handled by Triple C Triple A, who had a decent Tidehunter last game. Although not getting a very good early start at all. To start us off, the Your family side is going to be going aggressively as a 4-man unit with Fendril playing on the Ancient Apparition, Kranich on the Zeus, Kira on the Wraith King, which is presumably going to mean he's a support, and the farming core in this tri-lane will be Vlado playing on the Viper. Zeus is presumably going to be heading up towards the mid position, but it's just going to be offering a little bit of extra assistance as they roam. In case they had a level 1 fight, the extra chain lightning damage could be very effective. But in the end, they won't find anybody out, just going to block one camp over here, so the pole is not available since they are going aggressive. This was spotted out, I believe, by the Skywrath Mage, or at least he knew what was going on, so it has the potential of being dewarded, although dewarding this camp is a little bit of a nightmare. Yeah, so we will see. Cure and Fendril are going to be our aggressive supports. They're going to be laned with the Viper. If they're able to get the Viper off to a good start, they can leave him alone fairly effectively, but then again, Skywrath Mage and Earthshaker are going to make that difficult as well. So potentially we are going to be seeing just a straight up aggressive tri-lane coming out from them, trying to put as much pressure as possible on the Spectre. That said, it's going to leave some room for this Tinker to grow, especially considering his Ancients were not blocked, and neither with either of his pole camps. So without support rotations killing Zella, Zella can have an incredibly fast boots travel, especially with his starting build going for 2 share tangos, as well as a set of tangos of his own. Probably going to be getting a bottle and magic stick very quickly, and from then on, it's smooth sailing coming out from the Tinker. Bristleback versus Nyx Assassin, a matchup that you usually don't see. I'd say Bristleback is favored, but I don't think Nyx should be dying, especially once he gets some points up into the Spike Carapace. I think he should be okay without any severe overextensions. For now, Eunice is just soaking experience as they got the more out of the block, and well, the 2 supports are going to smoke up and look towards mid, so they're kind of just throwing the Spectre to the dogs, kind of being an off-lane Spectre, if you will. And with 2 sets of tangos as well as a salve and a stout shield should be just fine, but the Zoo's not going to be so lucky as the Fissure comes out, a block Kranich on the right side. Will they be able to get him down? However, they don't have a lot of damage, and no follow-up lockdown is only level 1 on the Skywrath Mage, and Kranich is just going to be zoned out. Yeah, I think they needed the block here, actually, in order to get that kill. So a little bit of hype for nothing, but still putting pressure on the Zeus is going to be nice. But since they are gone, I think that they can just go straight up aggressive onto this Spectre. Spectre's going to be forced into a very defensive build, presumably, and does go for Dispersion as her second level up into the defensive passive to make sure she's able to sit in this lane and at least get experience. I don't know, maybe we'll be seeing some more solo Spectre as the meta kind of gets reshuffled out of the new patch, and I think it can function kind of the same way as a Faceless Void with her ultimate, as well as drums and just a couple of levels up into Desolate. She can do a lot of damage, and, well, with these starting items, can sit in lane very effectively as well, so I don't know, potentially that's a thing. I don't think so, but I didn't think Faceless Void off lane was really that great either until I really saw it being played consecutively in professional games, so maybe that is an option. Cure as well as Fendril are going to jump back down to this bottom lane, but Skywrath Mage is not, as he picks an Illusion Druid up in top and is just going to harass out the Zeus and being a general nuisance. Zeus is farming very well to start us off, evenly with the Tinker 10-1, and actually First Blood going to be drawn the Earthshaker behind the tower. Yeah, should have been watching there, but in the end, well executed. That killing combo is just a little bit too strong for the poor little Earthshaker to do anything. He could throw out a Fissure, but that's about all he could do. And now Smoke Up, like this movement coming out from Fendril as well as from Cure. They're going towards the mid lane and trying to catch up the Tinker. For now, he's just kind of hanging around the Ancients. He's going to get a triple stack here. I believe the timing for that one is going to be correct. Let's see if he's going to be punished for this. Bristleback can steal those Ancients, so maybe we'll look for a contest coming out from European Love Story. Earthshaker is sitting behind them, but he doesn't catch vision of the Ancient Apparition or the Wraith King, and Wraith King and Ancient Apparition are looking for it. The Fissure blocks them and just delays them plenty of time. March Machines on the ground, they can't dive into Zella with 2 points already up into that. So tri-lane mid pretty much is going to come out from European Love Story, just making sure that this Tinker gets the most out of his laning experience. Viper solo up against the Spectre. Spectre can't do jack. Let's see, the Viper is sitting at 21-10, just having a free farm lane pretty much is. Spectre is only getting 4. Usually you'll see Spectres want to get some really greedy items to start out with, but generally I'm a bigger fan of like the Phase Boots Drum Spectre with Orb of Venom as well. It makes your ultimate do a lot, and yeah, I think that'll be a solid choice for him. I'm not sure if you can Boots of Travel in onto the illusions of Spectre Haunt, but if you can, and we see that synergy later on in the game, they'll be able to take out pretty much any one of these heroes that they want to, presumably the Zeus as well as Ancient Apparition or the prime suspects. Regeneration rune spotted down in bottom. Looks like it will be secured by Cure. He will sit on it for a little bit longer, but as the Skywrath Mage shows his face, maybe we'll just stun him and then pick up the regeneration rune. Just kind of making a move, puppy guarding this, but he is spotted out completely by this Observer Ward coming off the Radiant. He'll leave it for the Zeus, who's going to need it a lot more than the Wraith King. So in the enabled Cure, they get the Fissure wrong side on the block for Cure, and Cure will just be able to swagger his way towards the right and be just fine. Soul Ring on the Tinker at about 4.5 minutes after the bottle. Not going to be building the brown boots before really fighting. But down in bottom, they get a Spectral Dagger onto Cure as well as a concussive shot. Arcane Bolt follows through as well. And Eunice might be able to die this one with the Fissure. It blocks him on the wrong side. But with that free pathing, Eunice able to just walk his way over. But now he's going to be turned on by the Viper, slowing him down. Eunice clips himself through the trees and will be able to back off and salve. No mana, but I think they'll donate a Clarity from the Earthshaker, or yeah, from the Earthshaker, to make sure he has the Spectral Dagger if things go really south. But for now, they're just going to chill out. Yeah, now that the supports are there up against the Viper, Spectre should be able to get a little bit of farm. But still, I think the damage has mostly been done by Vlado. Kind of going as expected. That lane really can't work out for the Spectre. I don't really see a way that he'll be able to CS up against the Viper, and at the very least he should be able to soak experience and not die, which Eunice has done admirably. Yeah, top matchup is CS-wise being dominated by the Bristleback, but Nyx Assassin returning a lot of that harass with that Spike Carapace. Down bottom, we have some action going on. The Zeus ultimate comes through, just so much damage to Radiant Heroes to get the Spectre. The start is softball, and Sovos hiding in the trees. Will they be able to get out? They tango through. Fendrel going to give up. They don't drop any Icy Vortexes. They don't have any points in it just yet, and in the end, not going to be able to find good pathing there, as both of them just kind of bumped into each other awkwardly. But that's going to make our kill score 2-0. Earthshaker and Spectre going to be the ones that die, and getting that kill on the Spectre is really going to delay her game impact for quite some time. She does need some basic farm before she really does anything. That ultimate doesn't really do much without it. She gets a CS with the Spectral Dagger, but that's about all that you can expect here. And all three of these lanes from family are doing well. Really, the Zeus is the only one that's trading evenly with the Tinker. 28-4 compared to the 26-1. And with the Tinker stacking up and farming up some Ancients, that's pretty much to be expected. The Ancients have been blocked out by a Sentry, so they won't have those available a little bit. But the large creeps are still there from the triple stack, and Tinker will be able to secure himself around about 700 gold towards his boots of travel with that. Nyx Assassin has his level 6 and making a roam onto this Zeus in mid. Let's see if he knows what's going on. With the Bristleback up and top, and he should be knowing that something's up, and Kranich is just going to be chilling towards bottom and maybe making a rotation down here as the smoke comes out from the Dire Heroes. Maybe they just go straight onto the Spectre, but they're going to find out the supports. The Skywrath Mage is as good as dead. Right for our blast. Kills the Courier. Now the Courier. Will it die? They need one more auto attack. They won't be able to find it. It's too fast as a flying Courier. And, well, just going to interrupt the pulling operations as Eunice and Earthshaker really need to get out of dodge here. Yeah, just not a very flattering position for them. I don't know, Zeus is going to rotate back towards mid, but has a haste rune, so not the greatest time to gank him with that Nyx Assassin. But Nyx Assassin, he's committing pretty hard for this. His Vendetta's going to wear out, and he's going to be forced back into top lane. So in the end, the first Vendetta rotation is just going to give him more space the way of the Bristleback. Bristleback currently farming incredibly well, 45 and 17. The damage advantage that he has of the Nyx Assassin being put to good use, as well as having a better animation overall. Yeah, that's going to be the damage up in top. Eunice slowed down Wraithfire Blast, and that should be a fairly easy kill. She has the Haunt, but using that defensively is very difficult. But with the TP supports, they might be able to get it out. Sovos is locked in place. There goes the ultimate, but the Zeus will also going to return in kind, and Eunice is too low. Viper Strike going the way of the Skywrath Mage, and now everybody's just so darn low. Who's going to die for Skywrath Mage? And now the Spectre. 3 kills down in bottom. They lose the Wraith King for it, but definitely worth it. But Triple C, Triple A gets a double as he cleans up both of the supports and now starts trading with Vlado. This could be problematic. He has 1 point in the Spike Carapace, which can guaranteed stun up the Viper, but under the tower, Vlado might be able to get this kill nonetheless. He's juking around for all he's worth. He has the Arcane Boots coming out from cooldown soon. They might be able to make a turn on this with the Zeus, but no, Zeus gets the kill onto the Nyx Assassin. 2-7 is our kill score. Buyback from the Nyx Assassin. He really wants some blood as he is TPing nowhere. Eventually goes back to top that buyback. I hate that choice. He wants to go for the deny for the top tier 1 tower, but will he even be able to get it? No, Bristleback gets the last hit. If he gets his kill on the Bristleback, it'll be good, but in the end, buyback for the tower deny. Not sure if I like that exchange coming out from Triple C, Triple A. He's chasing down the Bristleback, waiting for possibly another Quill Spray. He pops the Spike Carapace a little bit prematurely, looks for the stun. He actually lands on that one. Will the right-click damage be there? Without the Vendetta damage, I don't think so, and the Quills are going to start stacking up on him. He really can't do anything. Your family are striking back and in a big way. A lot rests on this Tinker this game, but with the laning phase that they've had, your family are looking to snowball pretty much out of control. Zeus, Arcane Boots online and looking for potentially a Blink Dagger next. And he'll have it in mid as they stun up. Cure and Curse just going to be bursted down. 4 heroes against 1. Not a fair exchange for the Wraith King by any means. And doesn't have the ultimate, so no chance to turn around on that with TP support either. And even if he had the ultimate point, I think you save that there. Just getting caught out, I don't think that you could really reliably counteract that with any amount of TPs in a timely manner. Viper continuing to push down the bottom lane with the mechanism completed. He'll be a great asset for his team, and I think your family could start 5-manning down these towers fairly effectively. Even though they don't have the greatest pushing lineup, their wave clear is not too shabby with Cranch spamming out the waves and Viper with the extra damage. Tinker continuing to farm up, working towards this boost of travel of Soul Ring bots at about 10 minutes, which is a decent timing for the Tinker to have. He will have to leave a couple of these big creeps still in the camp. Maybe Nick Assassin can clean those up, or he'll pick those up later. Boots of Trouble picked up simultaneous with the Zeus, picking up his Blink Dagger. And really the only lane that went well for European Love Story was this Tinker, and they committed a lot in order to do so. They supported him with the Nyx attacking ganks, with the 2 supports rotating in. They just committed everything. Viper going to be stunned up behind tower. Follow-up vision, beautifully executed. Tinker gets the last hit. And, well, that's going to accelerate their farm quite a bit. Drops another March onto towers. He gets stunned up by the Wraith King. But with the rotation from the Bristleback, Zeus ultimate to secure the kill. Spectre drops her ultimate as well. Triple C, Triple A looks for the stun. Not able to connect with the Bristleback. And in the end, it's going to be 1-for-1 trade Viper for Tinker. Your family should be wonderfully happy with this, as the Tinker was really EULS' hope to get back into this game, as their Spectre has nothing, and, well, they're going to lose the Zeus as well, so not the best. I'm not sure what the Zeus was doing, chasing down the Skywrath Mage in that situation. I wasn't even looking at the map, just suddenly Zeus dies inside the enemy base. Yeah. Not a huge fan of that movement by any means.
Radiant's top tower's in bad shape.
Tier 1 tower going to be under some heavy pressure coming out from your family. Tinker marches as well as rocket spam will be very annoying for this and should delay the push for now. So at the very least, they're not losing very much map control, but still with a Bristleback getting the farm that he is, working towards that pipe of insight, as well as a Viper getting good farm, already building that mechanism, chasing down Eunice without her ultimate. I think Eunice is dead. No TP on the Spectre. Spectre is so gone. No mana for Spectral Dagger, no way to get out. And yeah, Spectre just hasn't really done it for me as a pick. They drop some rockets in mid with a Vendetta hit. They look for the stun and Cranch. They find it. Mana Burn does some decent damage to him, but no follow-up in the end. So Nyx Assassin just going to thank the enemy team for that extra kill. Nyx Assassin's not doing poorly as an offlane Nyx Assassin. Really where the slack is being drawn up is that Spectre, who is farming in what started out as a tri-lane, but ended up kind of being a tri-lane mid, as the supports really weren't there to help the Spectre. I'm not even sure if sitting around there would have helped at all. They're decent at zoning out a hero with the Skywrath Mage, Arcane Bolt, as well as with the Fissures coming out from the Earthshaker. But at the end of the day, they just really have nothing up against an Ancient Apparition Wraith King Viper tri-lane. Yeah, Vanguard going to be picked up by the Bristleback. Not a huge fan of this pickup, just the casual headdress for the extra HP regen. He's going to have a lot of that in his pocket, but I think just going for the pipe would have been better suited in this game, as the damage block from Vanguard really isn't going to do that much. The extra HP is going to be nice, and it's definitely not wasted, but I think the other item pickup would have been nice. We have a decent Fissure coming out from Silvas, as well as an Impale going the way of the Viper, but Silvas is going to die almost immediately. Zeus ultimate, they just have to run. There's nothing that they can stand up against, but the Bristleback is eating a lot of damage from the March machines. All they need is the Vendetta hit going out from Triple C, Triple A. He's going to be earned up. The Mana Burn comes out to cancel that earn charge, and Cure looks like he's going to give up his life for the Spectre, looking for the kill onto the Bristleback, but with the Vanguard, I'm not even sure if Eunice can do this. He gets the Desolate, extra pure damage. Will it be enough? It looks like it will. The Cold Feet, they're going to slow him down, and he loses his life as the Bristle Boss just swaggers away to safety, and Spectre's going to end up feeding away her life. A very ill-timed dive, and I guess the Vanguard paid for itself. They're securing the safety of the Bristleback with that 40 damage block. Yeah. Spectre is not going to get into this game forever. Usually at this time, if you're going for the combat build, maybe you have like a phase drums as well as Orb of Venom at this point. That's decent, although not the best farm. Still okay. Maybe an extra 1,000 gold on top of that. Maybe even have a Diffusal Blade finished. Not on top of the drums, mind you, but just like a phase Diffusal. Wouldn't be shabby either. Maybe even have your Relic. I don't know. Really the point is that this Spectre is having not a good game. Is when you're 600 gold pretty much away from the enemy support, which is the Ancient Apparition who has pretty much nothing, you're not in for a good time. And Spectre is about to have even less a good time. She tries the Spectral Dagger forward, but with all of these nukes going Ori, Viper Strike, there's nowhere to run for Eunice, even with that free pathing. And another death for this Spectre. And that's going to be her KDA of 1, 5, and 3. Yeah, Spectre can get a lot of kills around the map. Vendetta, no, just going to go for the stun straight under the Bristleback with the Scarlet Mage ulti. They're just not doing enough damage. He stuns up the Scarlet Mage, and I'm not even sure if they can get this kill. He's just going to turn on the Nyx and I think he's just going to club him down. Fissure comes out, and they just need to run. Bristleback is too darn tanky. He has 600 HP, which isn't that great, but I mean, that's pretty much the full of Sylvos' entire health pool. Now he's going to be clubbed down. Double kill for the Bristleback, and this Bristleback is just beastly now. Zeus Ultimate kills the Scarlet Mage inside the base, and
Radiant's mid towers get the bang.
yeah, Ancient Apparition Blast also flying through the Tinker. Tinker's dead. He soul ringed before that when he was trying to rearm in base, and he's slowly but surely going to tick down. Or will he? Last tick of damage. Oh, that's a clench your butt cheeks moment for the Tinker. Yeah, just miscalculation by me. Sorry about that extra hype for nothing. But still, when you almost die from the Ancient Apparition and Zeus ult, and that's very scary. Nice Fissure catches out 3. Tinker rockets. Cure has his ultimate, so even if he dies, that's the cost of his death. But in the end, family are just going to back off for now. And Spectre, he's trying to farm up as best he can, but I think the Spectre is pretty much playing on tilt. Tinker's on the decent track for items, as 16 minutes in. Blink Dagger is solid. Usually you want 15. But still, not bad by any means. But yeah. Not great. Especially as the Bristleback is stealing up some of his camps in his jungle. And there's just nothing they can do to punish this. They have a Viper that's working towards the Aghanim Scepter and will almost have an Ancient Apparition Blast going to clip onto Triple C, Triple A. Will just stump the Ancient Apparition, but Kranich with that haste rune diving under the Tier 2 tower is going to impaled as well. Nicely comboed up by then with the Vendetta extra damage as well as the Enchant Totem. They'll be able to get the return kill on this Zeus. Too aggressive coming out from him. Yeah. Oh no. They will be able to defend for now. That dive from the Zeus was ill-advised. Probably should have just backed off. But in the end, they will capitalize on that mistake coming out from him. Pipe will be the next choice for our Bristleback, as he does have the Hood of Defiance completed. Probably going to replace his Quelling Blade with that one. At this point in the game, Quelling Blade not the most effective item choice. Or item to hold on to. Well, I take that back. Actually, with Roshan, you want to drop your teleport scroll and keep the Quelling Blade until after Roshan dies, and then you can either get the Aegis, or honestly, just give the Aegis to somebody else. Give it to the Viper, give it to the Zeus, so that they'll be able to come back in these fights, because I don't see this Bristleback dying anytime soon. The magical damage really isn't going to be enough to cut it, especially if they're facing his back. They drop the Thunderbolt to cancel Roshan, but with this minus armor, slowly but surely, they will get the Roshan, and let's see who they give the Aegis to. It is going to be Zeus to get the Aegis. I like this choice, especially with the way Kranich has been playing. Bristleback, having a TP scroll might have been nicer than the Quelling Blade after that fight, but still, yeah, I like the choice of keeping the Quelling Blade in the Roshan pit. Yep, so, yeah, he'll have space once he picks up his pipe. I don't think they'll be able to go high ground until they have the pipe finished by the Bristleback, but 1 or 2 more towers is all they're going to need, and a kill in a tower is also going to suffice. Especially if Bristleback gets the last hit, so Tier 2 tower push is going to come in. They have March on the ground, but with the mechanism powering through this, Bristleback just doesn't care, just kind of soaking up the damage as much. Turns his back, and yeah, Tier 2 tower is just going to be whittled away. I don't know, he's taking a little bit more damage than you probably would like to, but they're going to stun up Kranich. Tier 2 tower eventually going to fall. Wraithfire Blast being thrown to Sylvos, and this fight is just spread out a little too much for any kills to go on. So pretty much just going to be a Tier 2 tower uncontested. Wraith King picks up his Blink Dagger to pair with those fashionable power treads at about 18 minutes in, so going to be looking fine. Ping's going out onto Eunice, and Eunice, yeah, I feel for you, buddy. This is not your game. 1, 5, and 3. 55 CS. And I think he's going to die another time. Nick Assassin is invis up, looking for Cranch. He has the Ancient Apparition ultimate flying through, misses the stun, however, and Cranch should be just fine. While the Spectral Dagger, they're going to stun him up. He's going to lose the Aegis at the very least. Eunice trying to run away. As the AA blast on him, he's going to be just fine and dandy. Zeus not going to die for that one. So in the end, Nick's Assassin being their invis, going to save Spectre's life as well as secure themselves the Aegis off of the Zeus. Yeah. I don't think this is going to slow your family down that much, but it's going to stop the bleeding for now, at least. We'll make sure they're not death bowling. But with the pipe on the bristleback, I think they can just man down these tier 2 towers, especially top, which is only sitting at about 700 HP. Dagon is a choice by the Tinker, feeling they need extra damage, but with the pipe, as well as the corrosive skin on the Viper, these heroes are not going to be that easy to burst down. Zeus is going to be his primary target with this combo, with a full barrage with Dagon, as well as maxed out rockets, as well as laser. He might be able to get that kill. I don't know. Ancient Apparition ult comes through. Vendetta defensively used by the Nick Assassin. Maybe he'll be able to turn offensively with that later on. But for now, just a couple of missed kills around the map. Yeah. The group comes out on top, and I don't think there's really going to be a full-hearted defense from EULS. They'll drop some marches on the ground as well as some potential fissures, but I don't think that's going to be it. EULS need to hope with all their might that they're going to be able to turtle this one out to the late game. Well, Blinken from Curie's going to stun up the Earthshaker, and now with the extra lightning bolts being thrown, he throws the Echo Slam, but it doesn't land on anybody, and the pipe is just too strong. It mops up a lot of damage from the March Machines, and the tier 2 tower is going to fall one way or another. Completed Aghanim Scepter for the Viper, and, well, I don't know, without Echo Slam, the hope for a huge high ground defense is very limited, and also without a Blink Dagger on your Earthshaker, not even close to a Blink Dagger on the Earthshaker. The hope for that is also limited. Silence up on Kira, not going to be able to throw the Ray Fire Blast with the Sky with Mage ulti as well as the Nick Assassin Impale. They'll be able to get that kill, but the Bristleback is just, I don't know, he doesn't care, and Wraith King's actually not even going to lose his ultimate there. He can just hang around, sits on the back lines, earns himself up, and the siege begins. What are they going to do? They have the pipe coming off the cooldown. They might need to wait for that. They look for the Impale. It only catches out Fendril, but with the rockets also coming in, they blink for it. They look for cancel on that TP, but Curie has the Aegis, or rather Reincarnation. They drop the Spectral Dagger onto Cure, and the Desolate damage is doing decent on the backlines, the Ancient Apparition in particular. They lose the Wraith King ultimate and Bristleback, not tanky as much as he'd like to be. He has the pipe coming off of cooldown. He should probably pop that, and eventually he will, but the double kill for Cranch as he cleans up the Tinker. Buyback from the Tinker. He wants to get back into this engagement as fast as possible. Everybody on Family's slow, but nobody's dying just yet. Spectral Dagger might change up, but he didn't point target, or unit target it, and it was just on the ground. So we'll slow their attack speed, but not going to do any damage. Rocket spam coming out, going to be annoying, and will repel your family for now. Kranich just liberally throwing out those Thunderbolts to make sure that the ward vision from EULS isn't there. Yeah, I don't know, this is scary. This is looking to be a 1-for-1 finish by your family, punching back after the Game 1 loss. European love story, if they're able to win a couple of team fights convincingly, they'll be in a good situation. But the trick is really doing that. The lineup coming out from your family is so tanky and does so much damage at this point in the game. It's just super scary. And Bristleback presumably going towards a Blade Mail, but I wouldn't even be completely opposed to a Crystallis here. With the extra damage coming out from his passive, he's going to be doing so much when he's just running at the enemy team. I think that is going to be a Blade Mail, though. Yeah, March Machine's still annoying, not going to pop the pipe for this one, just going to push out bottom lane as they go for the last tier 2 tower. So the methodical approach coming up from your family, I like it. I think there's no reason to be hasty, and if they just go about this one tower at a time, they should be able to take this. I don't really want to look at the graphs, but it is about a 15,000 gold advantage for your family, and the experiences, although not as terrible, 7,500, not too shabby for your family as well. Yeah, Spectre saving up her gold, 2,600 in the bank. I think she needs to buy something to help her be effective. She needs like a diffusal blade, I think, before the next fight, in order to really do anything at all with her ultimate. But she might even just be saving up for the Radiance and aiming for the really, really late game. Although at that point in the game, Radiance is going to be very late. Blade Mail it is from the Bristleback. Tier 2 tower going to fall. No big surprises there. Viper gets the last hit, and the push commences. Pipe not on the ground. Just yet, they'll probably wait for this next creep wave before popping it. And, well, at least for now, they're going to back off with Cranch. He does not have boots of travel, so won't be able to get back into the phrase. So I don't think they're going to push this. Just going to do some more economic damage towards European love story as their jungle is being raided for all usable items. Yeah, this game is completely on Zella at the moment. If he dies without buyback, it's pretty much all over. I don't think he prioritized Dagon. He prioritized just living. We do have a Blink Dagger on the Nyx Assassin, which might be nice for setting up some pickoffs here and there, and they could have gone for granted, potentially, if Tinker had more mana. Yeah. For now, it's just going to calm down. I was kind of hoping there'd be a little bit more action. But alas, no. Zeus ultimate, casually thrown out, just to get intel of where the enemy team is. And it's a great way of catching out the Tinker, and, I mean, with only a 90-second cooldown, if they're not planning on pushing for another 90 seconds, I think it's solid. Nyx Assassin going to catch eyes onto the Viper, and eventually will bump into Cure as well as Fendril. He's pinging out Fendril. It seems that he wants to go for this. He doesn't have damage. He's going to try for it anyway. Oh, with the Spectre, I guess they should be able to get this kill. Or will they? He needs reality, and he drops the Spectral Dagger, and Cure looks like he's going to die as well. So in the end, a well-executed gank. I forgot they had a Spectre on their team, in all honesty, but with the game impact that it's had, I mean, it's not all that surprising either way. But in the end, catching out the Ancient Apparition, almost killing the Wraith King is good for them, even though they had to use Haunt as well as Vendetta for it. Vendetta not going to be the biggest deal, up a cooldown very shortly, but without their Haunt in the next team fight, it could be problematic getting some of these kills. I think they just hope for everybody to spread out and get that extra Desolate damage. EULS down in bottom has a TP as well as a Spectral Dagger on the ground. She should be fine. I know I say that, but with the Wraith King, she sure as heck will not. And, well, that's a mega kill streak for Vlado. I thought she'd be able to make it out there alive, but in the end, just slowed down, couldn't get to the trees, and I wasn't really paying attention to Cure. And in the meantime, mid is going to take some harass from the Bristleback, pushing in, did not use the pipe, and is just going to swing down bottom. As top lane, Ancient Apparition Blast not going to clip anything, I don't think. Actually hits Zella, going to be annoying. Can't really rearm with the Soul Ring now.
Mid tower could use a hand.
But yeah, Tier 3 tower is going to be the next target. Bristleback just popping that Blade Mail and running in like a boss. I have a Blade Mail on the Wraith King as well. And the Tinker, he's almost just going to die to that in the base. What can you do? With double Blade Mails up against the Tinker, this is a sad Tinker. Well, Nyx Assassin is here. They pop the Glyph. 5 seconds where they can delay this to get Zella dropping some more marches onto the ground. They'll have to wait for some extra mana on the Bristleback so they can pop the pipe. And, well, without the Zeus or the Ancient Apparition, they won't have the Arcane Boots. I didn't actually see where Zeus died, but apparently he is dead, losing his life up in the top lane. Yeah, I don't know. For now, European Story are turtling for all they're worth, and I don't think it's going to be enough. I think eventually your family are going to be able to take this one out. It's going to be anticlimactic, but the hope for the biggest turnaround that I've seen in a while is there. Tinker is one of the better heroes to do it, and Spectre late game is nothing to scoff at, and she is going to be going for the Radiant. She'll have it in about 30 minutes. EULS, she'll be able to do some damage in her ultimate with this, but her illusions are just going to fall too quickly, I feel. The Quills coming out from the Bristleback are going to be great for doing so, and yeah. We do have a Fisher Block coming out from the Earthshaker to beef up the creep wave, but all it really did was make sure that the creeps were closer to the tower, which will secure EULS a little bit extra farm towards that Radiance. If this were a different hero, I would have considered a Rapier pickup for EULS. I mean, I don't know, go big or go home, I guess, but even then, she wouldn't be able to do anything. Her illusions wouldn't benefit from that extra damage, and Radiance is going to be more cost-effective in the end. They get an Aegis, and this time they are going to give it the way of the Viper. Yeah, that's right, that's who picked up. But in mid, they smoke out Blink onto EULS, and EULS is going to drop before he gets the Radiance. I don't think he's going to finish before this game. Blade Mails, oh, actually, they are going to back off for now. EULS is safe, but Tinker, he gets a kill on the Ancient Apparition up in top of the Zeus ultimate, secures the kill on the Spectre, and, well, Wraith King, he gets the burn damage on the Skywrath Mage after stunning him up, and now the Tier 3 tower on bottom looks like it's going to fall. A very spread out engagement taking place in pretty much half of the entire map. Stun disjointed by Zella, and now with the pipe, they're just going to blink away at the melee barracks. Nyx Assassin falling very low. He pops the Spike Carapace a little bit too late, and now they're going in with the double blade nail. Zella is just falling too low. Will they be able to blink him down? One more auto attack is all they needed, and Vlado actually takes him down with the corrosive skin from the March of the Machines, and he has buyback, and I think he needs to spend it, but they're just going to concede this. Rax, he does buy back into the game. They do lose the reincarnation up on the Wraith King, but now they're going to lose the entirety of their barracks as well. Kranich drops a couple more of those Thunderbolts, and they're completely zoned out in their base while their barracks fall. Nyx Assassin falls to the Ancient Apparition. Although we haven't seen the best ultimates or the most impactful ultimates from the AA, I mean, they've been there, and they've been a nuisance for European Love Story to deal with, and I think this game has pretty much been secured out. So they're looking for the final defense here with the Marching Machines down on the ground. Nick Sasson buys back into the game. This is it. This is the final stand, but for now they're completely zoned out. They jump in onto Sunone with the Radiance not completed. That's not going to do that much damage, but the Bristleback at least is going to fall. Let's see if they'll be able to focus down Kranich. They have an Echo Slam committed. He's not going to find a good range for it. Oh, he'll be able to catch out the Zeus as well as Cure, and it looks like they might be able to get him. Buyback from the Zeus. Ancient Apparition Blast lands on 2 heroes, but they'll get the Aegis up the Viper at the very least. 3 heroes down on the side of your family for now. But the triple kill ultimate coming out from the Zeus. Everybody was so low, and Kranich just couldn't hold in that buyback. It's too hard to pass up, and in the end, I think that's all that they had in the take. They have the buyback on the Earthshaker, but I think this is just going to be 2 lanes of racks, 3 lanes of racks, then game. Wow, that Zeus ultimate. Yeah. I don't know, I haven't been casting Zeus very much, and I'd like to see more of the hero. He's pretty exciting to watch, even though watching him around the map is pretty difficult. But Tier 3 tower is going to fall. Viper pops his Mantisal, which will be his next pickup. And we'll just go to work onto these melee barracks next. It's not the fastest pushing team by any means. We don't have a Lycan, Draw Ranger, or I don't know, Shadow Shum to take down these structures quickly. But melee barracks, this is going to be barracks number 2, is going to fall, and I wouldn't be surprised to see an anticlimactic GG coming out from European Love Story, but maybe a little save for the Radiance and want for one big more team fight. We'll see, we'll see. For now, they're just going to stay in the game. I mean, really, the Ancient Apparition is the only one that's below anybody on the side of European Love Story, and even him is neck and neck with the Spectre. If this Ancient Apparition wanted the Radiance, he could probably have it, but he's going to go for the Ancient Apparition Aghanim Scepter upgrade, which is going to be huge. If he lands that on 2 or more heroes, that's pretty much a one-team fight. It doesn't take much with that Ancient Apparition ulti. Vendetta on the Nexus and just getting some intel, but even if somebody shows their face, there's nobody they can really solo kill, especially without a Dagon. And yeah, despite having the best early game out of his teammates, his KDA is probably the best out of all of them. I don't know, Tinker's a little bit better at 5, 3, and 4, but still, he's had the most game impact, I feel, out of the 3 lanes. Tinker just was delayed a little bit too much in doing so, and without the Spectre doing much, and that last big Spectre really not doing it for me. Spectre actually going to die inside the base due to the Zeus ultimate as well as Ancient Apparition. That's all she wrote, as Bristleback kills the Tinker, and GG going to come out from European Love Story. No big surprises there. That's going to be our 1-for-1 in the series, and that's going to be all for now. There is going to be another best of 2 coming up shortly. Hopefully I'll be able to get into there quickly enough, but for now that's going to be Grandis V signing out. I'll go ahead and plug the social media and everything as usual. If you want to follow us on the English speaking channels of HeflaTV, you can find us at HeflaTV 1 and 2. We have German channels at 3 and 4, and you can also find some Chinese channels that have just been started at HeflaTV 5 and 6. Well, also, you can find us on our social media. If you do like what we do and want to find more games that we're casting, you can find us on Facebook and Twitter at HeflaTV, and the VODs will be uploaded to youtube.com/HeflaMoke later on in the day, as well as the VODs from late last night or rather early this morning. So that'll be it for now. Back to the lobby screen while we wait for the next best of 2. I think it'll be a little bit of wait before we get into those games, 30 minutes to an hour or so. But hang tight, we'll have some more Join Dota League action coming up shortly. So thanks for watching, and see you soon, hopefully.